Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about the film X-Men First Class. I don't really know if this is a proper video or not, but I want to talk about some things that I have been thinking about since I watched this film last night. And to celebrate the occasion, I'm wearing my Marvel comic t-shirt. This is, in a brief synopsis, this is the story of how the X-Men came to be, the early lives of Magneto and Professor X, Charles Xavier, and how they came to achieve the worldviews that they both have. Now, Marvel has always had a more scientific basis for its universe. DC has always been a little more magical than Marvel. Superman is a magical being. There's a lot of magic users in the DC universe. Whereas the Marvel has had a more scientific basis. They have the mutants, which are supposed to be a branch of humanity. And they've always kind of played off of that more grounded, quote-unquote, scientific slant. But for the entire time I've been involved in comic books, since I was aware of the concept, I have always viewed the Marvel mutants as a metaphor for the gay community in the world today. That many of them look just like us. They are among us. We don't know they're there, but they're different. And they want to be accepted. And they have different ways of dealing with that. They discuss the outing process. It's, to me, the metaphor is perfectly and utterly valid. And this film, which takes place in 1962, is interesting to me because at least to my mind, it really plays off of that. Because in the 60s, you had the Manichean Society, which was a group mostly of men that was trying to get the gay community, or as they were referred to back then as homophiles, to be accepted. But they weren't looking for full acceptance. They weren't looking to be treated as completely equal citizens. They hadn't gotten that far in their own heads. They were kind of looking for a separate but equal, in parallel to American culture. Not being arrested, not being, persecuted, but also not being brought into the greater whole, which is, of course, the healthiest thing you can possibly do for any minority group. These people are consenting adults. They're part and parcel of our reality. They're part of humanity. We need to bring them in. And whether I'm talking about gay people or mutants, those are valid statements. And in that light, I see that the message that Charles Xavier is bringing to us is very similar to that. He's not looking for complete assimilation. He's looking for parallel but equal, which is not equality at all. Whereas Magneto, played by the character Eric, is looking for either complete acceptance or I'm just going to make the old world go away. We are the next step. Which is a radical political move. And frankly, my sentiments are with Eric from day one. I just don't approve of his methods. I don't think he should be using violence to achieve them. I don't think he should use violence to achieve anything. It should be used as a last resort at all costs, and only if you have absolutely no choice. But overall, I liked X1, the first X-Men movie. I loved X2. I thought X3 was a piece of garbage, and the same was true with Wolverine. So comparing those four films to this film, I would say that First Class is slightly better than X1. It is not, in my opinion, as good as X2. I don't feel disappointed when I saw it. I feel disappointed in what it could have done, because it was so formulaic. It was so comic book in many ways, and there's a reason I've stopped reading comic books. I don't want to see those panels on the screen, and that's what I felt like I was looking at. It's like, oh, the bad guys have a flyer that projects some kind of an attack. Oh, the good guys have a flyer that projects some kind of an attack. Who would have thought they would fight in the air? That kind of thing. And none of these characters just didn't resonate with me. Like Havoc, I wasn't even making the connection with the name and the character from the Marvel Universe. Banshee, yeah, I kind of made the connection, but I preferred him being Irish, or even if he was Irish in this, it wasn't very strongly Irish. Angel, she had little fluttery wings and she spit at people. Didn't really feel a connection there either. Azel, or was it Azazel, whatever his name was, the guy, devil-based character, he was like a better version of Nightcrawler. He can teleport further. He had a tail. He was a martial artist or a combatant. And in the comics, that's pretty much describing Nightcrawler. Yeah, Nightcrawler. Sorry, I thought I said Night Gaunt there for a second. I've been discussing Lovecraft earlier today. Except he can't climb the walls. It's just there felt like almost one-upmanship in some ways. And to tell you how little buzz this film had for me, I didn't know Oliver Platt was in it. I was unaware that Kevin Bacon was in this movie, and I like Kevin Bacon. I think he's an awesome actor, and he plays a major role in this film. Something else I didn't quite grasp is that it's always been my understanding that Magneto could only affect ferrous metals, things affected by magnetic fields. And he affects a silver coin and a brass bell, for example. I didn't think he could do that. And it didn't seem to make a lot of sense to me that he could. For me, it would have made a better film if he couldn't. Because he couldn't move that coin because it was the wrong kind of metal. And that would have made a better plot point to him. And why the heck did he let himself fall under the control of some mad Nazi doctor when he could have just literally blown open the walls of the world around him and walked away? There was some inconsistency for me, and it bothered me. It wasn't a bad film. If they make a sequel bridging the gap from the 60s further into the future, I'll probably go see it. But I'll do what I did this time. I saw it at the cheap theater last night with my wife. The two of us went to the film for $7. We didn't get any drinks or any snacks, so our investment was $7. We walked in, we watched a movie, we walked out again. I don't know. I was hoping for more. I'd heard some really great buzz about this movie online, at least. People are saying on YouTube and blogs I read on a regular basis are all saying how good it was. And I didn't think it was that good.